So now it's time to go to work with Light Mix and work with the Tool Mockup section together. We'll apply the Tool Mockup on the top of the leaf. Here we have the Tool Mockup section and the Bloom section. Yes, we'll work on this section too, so that this scene is ready for rendering, and we'll go to the final render. First, we'll see here and start from Light Mix. We'll control the intensity of these lights and their color a little together to see if we can see a good result. Note that after we open the RenderMon node, the intensity of these lights will be changed. We'll change the color. This ambient light, which I'm doing on this scale, is its color suitable for it? Or is this in the light? The child knows that this light is a singer. It turns off and on. And it becomes clear that when it turns off, it turns on. So this is the shape of the light. I don't want to. This section belongs to the light of this water and jam, but we'll see if I turn it on. First, a black light grid here. I feel that the light is difficult. I will reduce the grid from weeks and put it in 4 parts. The color should be considered. First, you don't want to be too fart. We will leave a little bit of it. Well, now it's better, and we have to control these lights and see if these are done. The planet or the children have reached another age. This is the age of this. I will put these 14. You yourself should put this type of light on it. Change the color theme to this age and in fact, let's get natural. Well, this light, the light in the species that we put in the garden. See when I turn it off, the state that I turn on. Well, let's do this. The network is very big. I want to reduce it, because I don't want it to be light in the area, and then we have to have a lot of light from it. I will let it be used for cooking. Think. Let's see. Well, I will put this a little bit. All these types of children, you yourself should make the number complete. And let's change all this so that you can get that the right light for this scene. And in your case, you can hear those types. Well, that you have seen a lot of examples. And let's pay attention to the space. Let's not overdo the light. But the other point that we will pay attention to later is the light that. In a part of the house, you have a light called water and streams. Now let's try this light a little bit. With the checker, you can dim the color of these lights to a light color close to the light. That it has a difference with the light of this part. And in this way it gives a more realistic look that makes the rendering. So these sets are the same things. The light of a single light in the rappel. We put the light of the water and the streams that are on the rappel. And I considered all of these to be white. So now let's go to the body part. The lighting section. And now we are back with the same person for another period. So my boy, I'm going to set the lighting settings of this scene to the original settings, so you can see what changes our scene makes when I change these settings. Now let's light up this scene. For Kelly, who wants to light up the whole scene, we'll see how much we can see, Tony and Tony's head. And in the exposure section, I'll put this number on. Let's say what it does. Let's say our scene became much brighter. Or even if we go to 22, let's say 22. Well, both the smoke and the 20 were a good number. And the white balance section, I'll set it from 6000 to 6000 to have a warm color scheme in the space. And we'll do the same thing. This highlight section has a number in the group. I'll put it on 1 and it's fine. This section is special to me. We reduce the light output for us. This part where we have a lot of light, and it causes difficulty. When we make the number of buffers white, the difficulty for us decreases. So now let's move on to the bromanguli part. I'll turn this on, and you can see its effect in the light of these abyss lights. Now it's on the advanced settings, but we can work with these settings and tell what we want. For example, I'm setting its size to 5 now. So you see what changed? This balloon has a great effect on the rendering of our render, and it has a very good change. In normal mode, if we want to look at the light of the lamp, and it is visible in all shapes. So, all of these are always changed after rendering. All of these parameters can be changed after we get our overall render. Here too, we can control our light again. We have almost finished this scene. The light is green, and we are going to get its overall render together. And then we will adjust the light in the next level from other scenes, and we will compose the other tinsemote function, and then we will render. So now I want to finalize the render from this third one. For this task first, because I will read the tinsemote render page. On the perfect part here, you can winder should be on corona, and here on the part you want to winder on the turbine. For example, I am turbine number 1 there. I will ignore this part. Let's go to the head of the leaf commune, and plane section output size. And why I put the addresses low now because it was a rundle, and I wanted to see the result quickly. But for the end rundle it is better to put the number 2000. See this bottom up to 2000 we have many in this image aspect without us. These numbers change together. If your system was similar it is better to put it on 2000 and up to 2000 and points eventually, you will not have more. But if you have a weak system, and this size will make it so that until your render is long you can finally put these up to 1500. So let's go to talk about signs and here you have to be careful when you want to see the vote. We will remove it from this material till overwrite. So in the VCS server, here's the bottom part, the new part of the mod. We'll see different mods on the mode of the Privati Corello. And here we have a section too. Let's see here you can give this a limit of a number. For example, we see from a thumb when your greater thumb to background. It will be expected, and it will automatically resize it, or we can say here for any time. For example, an hour and a few minutes and this after. Like the time you gave it, it will automatically save and your render will be ready. But because I want to render with high quality and reject all its sun, the film here, and it does not give a number. Well, we do not have to do with the other settings, and the previous real-time table will remain. And I will now click on this sign. And I will notice that I will start rendering, and I will be patient until the end. So guys, this scene rendering again. I put the view like this again. And you can also adjust the hemi and put the view again. So we're going to go here. This is the second scene rendering. And we didn't know what the material was like before, because we didn't render it from it. Well, at first glance, your overall lighting is good. We can even put a scratch light here and change it, so that we have, for example, a year old. At first glance, what catches my attention in this shot is the light of this pendant. We should see why these pendants are in this shot. We had the size of the number in the previous shop and there was a mirror. But in this shop, it seems too much. So I'm putting the number 1. Well, now it's a little better. And we had said that we had some lights in these cages, which is not clear now. Here it is not clear, and here we see a little light. We conclude that we didn't put our light in a good place. Our light has gone into these cages. We have to move this light. I come to the scene, and from this section I click on light. I select these lights and move these a little. Well, let's see what happened in my color. Well, look, my children, now our lights are new, but their intensity is very high. So I come to the Light Mix tab, and these, because later we made a light basic, these lights go in addition to the light under the cable light in the tab under the light total. Well, let's see, this is too intense. I had been setting the intensity for weeks, but I'm going to do it once. Well, it's too high again. I'm going to reduce it. So now we see it's better, the color too. Okay, first of all, I want it to be a little brighter. So this and every other point that I have like this, I want to enlarge the screen. So the next point is, our child is on this stone behind the TV. It's very high. We didn't give it a glass. I'm going to go and clean it now. Let me change it a bit. Actually, I'll call it glossiness. See, yeah, that's it. See, its glossiness is number 1. I want to put it on. I want a little more mother, or even a little more cheese. Well, there's another point, guys, that you should see. For example, in this room, we may need to turn some of the lights on or off, or even increase their intensity a little, for example. Let's see the light of the road. Let's see here. Baby, be careful here. Let's see the light of the road. I feel a bit like the intensity of the planet, for example. I'll put this on the soot. Well, it got a little better. Or maybe I even want to change our ambient light, or any of the other lights. There is a point. So I had some lighting adjustments for the previous shot in this shot. And the lighting settings may be messed up. I can add or subtract these, or turn a switch on or off. Now, one possible solution to solve this problem is that for example, I see that in this happy state, these lighting settings are also suitable for this happy state. I can save this light with these settings, with this number, with this color scheme. We'll go after save here. You can extract it to any folder you want. And when you want to come back, you can render from this scene and load it here. These settings will be loaded for you, and you can use them for this shot. Or for the previous shot that we rendered, you could also use the same settings for you. Make sure that when you make changes to this screen, the light settings of that screen are not affected. See, even here we control the tone mapping part, for example, exposure, white balance, or contrast, and we can also save these settings for each shot. We're in the middle of nowhere, and we can use it however we want. Let's go through these settings again. Well guys, our scene is almost ready now, and you can get a render of it. And one thing to note here is that we have a true love of denoise, which I have put a number on the bottom of the page. You can put the same number and increase it a little. This scene is now a rendering. I'm still saying this is a new part, and this is completely honest, and part of it goes back to the fact that the user is something like a model of it. You can give this part any settings you want and call it a render. So let's go to the next door. We had a render of this room, a render of the TV room, and now we want to have a render of the kitchen. I'm going to go into the rotation view and I'll pick up my camera, put the camera here, and take the target out of the scene. Okay. This is our camera that we just placed. I came into this room and tapped on Baser to show us the camera view. So, we can't see anything right now because our camera is behind the wall and I have to go into the department. Modify the settings related to my camera, and in the clipping section I'll enable it. And I raise this number until it passes through my wall, and I can see my interior scene. See, it's slowly showing. We need to set this up first. I'll also bring the double up a little bit, and I'll bring it this way. Well, finally and collectively we reach a scene like this, and I'll magnify it. You should try to adjust these lines with this abyss line with this final line of furniture. And use the wall line to get out, and now we're going to take the switch from it so we can control the light. Well guys, this recipe that I'm taking from him is generally good. The place of the light is very good. You can do this. For example, you can see the light here, it's scattered in the cup here. You can do this. Move the scratch around, target it in different places, and see where you hit it. Where do you think the light and shadow should fall? So I think this is a good situation. And here I want the kitchen area of my house to have a little less light. I'll work half this way and half with this light, and I'll see that now the light is this way. It's as if there's a light under the bridge in this garden. I wonder which light it is. Is this light here? Well, this light was this. It was the light of Sherney. I'll turn it down and leave it for 2 minutes. Well, now it's better to turn off the light because the light under the cabinet is dimmed. I'll turn it down a bit. Well, it's better, and also the light that the kids have here in the way, but I'll find it and see which light it is, and I want this to be a little less bright. Well, you have this thing in this way. I think, okay, I'll turn this off, yeah. I want to reduce the intensity a little to see if it's going to be good or not, or it wasn't. Don't give it to the same person again. First, I'll go back, so I'll increase the number a little, and I'll put it on the 3rd floor. Well, now it's better to reduce the ambient light a lot. I want the light in this part of the kitchen to be a lot less. Let's have a bit more clarity here, I know, in the light section. I don't care about the ambient and the number. That's it, guys. We had a good scene and we have a good treatment. Our scene is completely realistic. Let's go again today. Rabsy is completely smart. Now you can work with this number. You can do it here, for example, in the tone mapping section, and increase the number of commas in the text. Let's call the House of Law. Even if it's a lot of history, I'll call it 2 with 1. Okay, now, then you can work with this and, for example, change the Elliott Chabun section, work with this and achieve the desired result.